Hey everyone, coming to you live from Crater Stadium, home of the Dover Tornadoes and previously the Tuscarawas Central Catholic Saints. And on this Independence Day week, wanted to show you how we do a hip activation exercise that we're going to use for Mobility Monday. This is often called Clamshell, and it's meant to activate the deep hip muscles in the buttocks. So typically I say right where your back pocket is, that's where these muscles are located, not in the front pockets, okay? I'll reference that visualization later. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna lay down on the ground somewhere and on your side. So there's a few variations that you can use with this. We're gonna start with your hips flexed, like so. So here, the important thing is that your legs are aligned and that your back is straight. So I'm going to lay on my front pocket on the bottom side so that I can activate or use the muscles where the back pocket is on the top side in order to create the motion. You would envision that if you continued the motion, it would look like this. Here, so your leg goes upwards and backwards, instead of upwards and forward towards your head. So that would turn on these muscles, which we don't want. So another view from the side is here. So again, I'm pushing down on my bottom foot through the top foot as I lift my leg up. As always, anytime we activate the hip, you have to have stiff abdominals so that the only thing that moves is your hip rather than moving of your back. Like that. So again, another view from back here is like this. And so as I go, I'm moving my back, which actually activates these front hip muscles as well as some of these lumbar muscles. So we don't want to use those, so instead you're going to use your abs to keep your spine in a neutral position as the rotation occurs just from the hip itself in the deep rotator underneath the back pocket. One other thing to keep on the lookout for is whether or not you're rotating. So even if you start in a good position, as you go, you can still rotate. So here, I feel as if I'm laying on my back pocket. Instead of here, I started on my front pocket. I want to stay there. The way I can make this easier is by first contracting up my hips a little bit more into flexion, so that now, even though I might be using a different part of my hips, or at least in a different position, the decreased tension on the hips because of the position should allow you to more easily learn the motion without having to worry about accessory or excessive or inappropriate motion of your back as you learn how to separate the motion of your hip from your back. We could also stay in the same position, but then also decrease the amount of motion that you're going through, or we even sometimes have somebody line their back up against the wall, and then they get a little more of a tactile feedback about whether or not they're moving or what their setup looks like, so on and so forth. The way to make this harder is, of course, simply adding resistance as one way. Also, we can start to change the position so that now I'm using a little bit of a different part of my hip, as well as I'm having to work harder to control the position of my pelvis with my abs, as now I go through that motion with my hips extended instead of in some amount of flexion like they were before. The one other thing is that you can find is that you can go into a side plank. Here, first making sure that you're in a good side plank position, and then now that you're stabilizing yourself with your abdominals, now
start creating motion from the hip in this unstable position.